What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got another Omnimon to talk about. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking at this stage. Well, hang on a second, Wassy. In this set, we've already seen an Omnimon, that's true, and we've seen an Omnimon Zwart, also true, and we've seen an Omnimon Zwart defeat, also true. Now we've got another Omnimon. Well, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have. And if any of you are thinking, well, you know, I'm going to be honest with you here, Wassy. Sounds like a little bit too much Omnimon. Do we really need so much Omnimon? I would say, look, on the one hand, fair question. 4 Omnimon in one set is quite a lot. And on the other hand, I'd say, look, mate, it's literally called the Battle of Omega. Battle of Omni over here. So you know what? Yeah, we do need this many Omnimon. Translation from the lovely folks over at Enzan Gaming, just in case you couldn't remember. So what do we actually have here? Well, we've got ourselves Omnimon X Antibody. I need to learn more Digimon, alright? This stuff is confusing to me, and I'll tell you what, straight off the bat, this one rocks. So 15 cost to play normally is standard for a level 7. That's what we expect. 6 cost to Digivolve is standard for a level 7. That is what we would expect. It can Digivolve from either red or blue. So, yeah. Just like regular Omnimon and regular Omnimon. And we've got 15,000 power, which is pretty standard for a level 7. Looking at level 7 here, we've basically got everything that we would usually expect. And then we've got a whole bunch of awesome skills. So first of all, you can evolve your Digimon with Omnimon in its name to this Digimon by paying free memory, ignoring its evolution condition. So you can basically take an Omnimon here and just Digivolve it into this, paying free memory. That is basically a little bit stupid, over the top, awesome, dumb. Firstly, it makes it incredibly cheap to Digivolve. Secondly, it means you can have more Digivolution sources, and yes, obviously it has a skill which revolves around having multiple Digivolution sources. We'll get there in a moment. Now remember, it says ignoring its evolution condition. So when I say that it can Digivolve from red or blue, it can Digivolve from a level 6, red or blue, but it can Digivolve from any Digimon with Omnimon in its name. And that has to be the rule. I mean, regular Omnimon might Digivolve from red or blue, but regular Omnimon is white. There's no such thing as a blue or red Digimon with Omnimon in its name. They don't exist, ladies and gentlemen. We've basically got white. They're all white, and any of them can Digivolve into this. So it doesn't matter which version of Omnimon you're playing, any of them can Digivolve into this, which is awesome. It means it can be teched into more decks. When you are attacking, you get to destroy one Digimon whose power is equal to or lower than this Digimon's power. And this is ridiculous. Because bearing in mind, and look, there are ways to boost your power both on your turn and your opponent's turn. I get all of this. But in terms of natural power, the highest natural power we have seen on any Digimon so far is 15,000. Which means that this will basically delete anything. Like, actually anything. Unless it's a high-powered Digimon that's got a bunch of stuff that will increase its power on your turn, in which case you might fall a little bit short. But outside of those weird circumstances, which obviously will happen, but again, we're talking the minority of the time. Outside of that, anything. Every time you attack, you just delete a Digimon. Your opponent's got a 15,000 power Omnimon that they've gone and built up. Yeah, no, it's gone. It's gone, mate. It's just gone. That is a ridiculous, ridiculous skill every time you attack. So you attack the stack while taking out one of your opponent's Digimon. And bearing in mind, right, if they've got one blocker and you want to attack the stack, what you do is you just delete the blocker as you attack the stack, and job's a good 'un. In a mirror match, it's basically first one to get this dude up wins, because if your opponent is building a Digimon up into this, just delete the one they're building up. And this can be backbreaking for your opponent. It is not always terribly easy to be building up, evolving up two different Digimon. Generally speaking, there is one that you're evolving up a little bit faster and putting your resources into, unless your opponent gives you like a huge amount of memory, which you're probably not ever going to. Not in a situation where it can be taken advantage of anyway. So now, you can just rock up, and every time your opponent's, as soon as you get this out, your opponent starts building up a Digimon and you delete it. So your opponent goes, well, okay, I guess I'll start building up another Digimon, and you're like, yeah, I'll delete that one too. And essentially you keep going until either you win the game or your opponent rage quits and you still win the game. This is a phenomenal skill, and you know what's ridiculous here? We still haven't got to the best part of this card. I know. On your opponent's turn, when your opponent's Digimon attacks, you may discard 2 Digivolution cards from this Digimon and end the battle. Yeah. You may also notice that that little bit of text on the coloured background, which is usually present, which would say once per turn, yeah, it ain't there, ladies and gentlemen. It's not there. This is not a skill that is limited to once during your turn. This is a skill that you can use at any point on your opponent's turn. Whenever your opponent's Digimon attacks, you can trash 2 Digivolution sources, and the attack stops. Your opponent is about to win the game, they announce an attack, you trash 2 Digivolution sources, the attack stops, you haven't lost the game. Your opponent has got security attack +3, they're going to go and take out 4 of your security cards and it's going to go very badly. Yeah, don't worry about it, just trash 2 Digivolution sources and the attack stops and you're fine. Tell me that's not going to get absolutely over the top ridiculously quickly, and I might be inclined to call you a liar. But the thing is, we can actually go even further than this. Because, of course, this is a skill. It's not limited to once during your turn, but in theory it is limited to how many Digivolution sources that you have. Well, good news, ladies and gentlemen. This is a set which has given us an awful lot of options in this regard. Now, obviously, on the one hand, this can Digivolve from a level 7. So, essentially, you get an ordinary level 7 out, and then you Digivolve, and then all of a sudden, that original level 7 is one of 4 level 7 Digivolution sources. You've got 4 level 7 Digivolution sources. Now, obviously, we're talking best case scenario here. Your opponent might not give you enough memory, you might not have enough time, you might not draw into the right cards, etc. Obviously, you are not often actually going to be able to draw all 4 Omegamon X antibody and Digivolve an existing level 7 4 times into these. I know it's rarely going to happen. But I'm talking about the things that could happen. I'm talking theoretically how the game could go in the best case scenario. So that is 4 Digivolution sources at a level 7s. That is 2 attacks being stopped just using your level 7 evolution sources. Nothing else. And then, of course, we can go even dumber. Because remember the other day I showed you Shoutmon DX, and I told you that Shoutmon DX had the potential to go a little bit nuts. When you Digivolve, you may put a red Digimon card from your hand onto the top of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, and then for each Omni Shoutmon or Zeke Greymon in your Digivolution cards, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 power or less, which is a cool skill, but that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is Shoutmon DX, that when you Digivolve into it, you get to put 2 cards down. You put down Shoutmon and an extra red Digimon. But also please remember that Shoutmon DX can Digivolve from a level 6. So you Digivolve normally level 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 4 Digivolution sources. And then you've got your 6. And then Shoutmon DX can actually give you 8 extra evolution sources. because there are 4 Shoutmon, each of which can Digivolve from a level 6, your original level 6, and then each Shoutmon just Digivolves from the previous Shoutmon. So there's 4 extra Shoutmon, that is 4 extras on top of your regular level 6, plus the 4 extras that are brought in, 1 from each Shoutmon, plus the 4 level 7s I just told you about. And actually what we've got here are 12 extra evolution sources. These are 12 extra evolution sources in addition to your regular level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. So in theory, you should be having like 17 Digivolution sources here, or 8 uses of this skill. And again, we're talking best case scenario, it's rarely going to happen, etc., etc. But that is 8 attacks of your opponents that are being stopped here. Now, obviously, what a bunch of people have gone and done is started mocking up images of what this would look like, and it is getting absolutely ridiculous here. Like, the stats make this a pretty good Digimon. And then you build in the fact that it's actually easier to Digivolve. Then you build in the fact that every time you attack, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon, and the vast majority of the time it will be your choice of any Digimon you like. Then you build in the fact that you can, as often as you like, discard 2 Digivolution sources to stop an attack. And then we've got all these extra tricks, including itself, to build up into a ridiculous stack of Digimon cards. And this becomes very, very silly very, very quickly. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most broken, over-the-top, silly cards we've seen so far, and I really don't think many people are going to be arguing to the contrary. I would call this a 5 WOSI card, but I feel like calling it a 5 WOSI card does it a gigantic disservice to quite how good a card it is. If you can make this consistent enough and good enough and all of that, and that is obviously a big if, there is a very good chance we are looking at one of the very best Digimon cards we've ever seen. And no, I don't think that's an exaggeration. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching WOSI Plays.